CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. Welcome back to CMMS Radio, everybody. This episode is very special. I say that about a lot of them, but this is over a year in the making. And the individual you see on screen here is Renée Richardson. She is the director of philanthropy for the Metallica All Within My Hands Foundation. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I am all about that. I was so lucky to even see you for a few minutes in December, Renee, when we were up in LA. We were at the YouTube Theater for the benefit concert, which is an incredibly special event. So I want everybody to always keep an eye out for that for 2026, wherever that's going to be. You got to go. It's small, intimate, but they just blew the roof off the place. But right. We've been talking for a long time. I'm a real big fan of not only Metallica, but the All Within My Hands Foundation because of what it does. It's very, very closely connected to what I talk about on CMMS Radio, like maintenance management, because that's skilled trades. Yeah. And I'm always chirping to people about the Metallica Scholars Program. And I get to see some of the videos, hear some of the stories. I saw the interview that was done on stage at IMTS. So shout out to MC. Yeah. I love this stuff, and I'll just geek out and I'll be smiling so hard my face hurts because I think it matters. And the first thing I wanted to do is, number one, Renée Richardson, welcome to CMMS Radio.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for having me. And yeah, it has been a year in the making. You know, we're busy over here in All Within My Hands land.
Yeah.
But, yeah, super stoked to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So one of the things I was hoping you could share is a little bit about your background that I might know, but other people might not, kind of how you came up and what your connection is to the band and how everything happened with the foundation.
Sure. So my background is actually in radio. I was an on-air talent, they called it. She uses the quote marks for talent. I was on-air personality for KFOG in San Francisco. Prior to that, I was on Live 105, which is the alternative station in San Francisco. And so I had this long career in music and radio and entertainment. And San Francisco, you know, to some, it's a big city. At the end of the day, when you're in a certain industry, it's a small town. You know everybody. You get to know everybody. You see people at movies and wherever. So the Metallica family, Metallica based in San Francisco, I had interviewed members of the band on the show, ran into Lars at a movie screening here and there, was friends with members of the management team. So my real background is in music and radio and using my voice for good. And over the years, I started to do more nonprofit work. And when I say use my voice for good, a lot of nonprofit organizations would need somebody to MC their event. And I would do that for free, of course, to just help a cause. Or they needed an auctioneer. And at the beginning, I was a very bad auctioneer, but I went to auctioneering school so that I could be better at it. So I got into this nonprofit world. And as radio, the landscape of radio changed, and they were cutting back and running stations from wherever. I started to get more involved in the nonprofit side of things, and I left radio. Well, I was fired, but I wear it as a badge of honor. And I started working for a nonprofit music school, Blue Bear School of Music in San Francisco. They are the original school of rock and roll. I am still a board member for them, but they took me under their wing as a development director. And so I started to gain all this nonprofit knowledge. And it was right at the same time that Metallica, the band, was forming their foundation. They were becoming more official about their give backs, if you will. So they had always given back on the road. Metallica, any Metallica fan knows this, that these guys have always been generous. They give back to, mainly it was about food banks and feeding the hungry. But then in 2016, 17, they started talking about establishing a 501c3 and being more official and using their voice to get others to give back. So I was poised to do the job. And when the application came my way, I applied and everything aligned, and it was pretty perfect for all of us, I think, because I have this music background, I have this rock and roll background, I have this entertainment background, and yet I have this nonprofit awareness and skill that I learned later in life. So, yeah, so that's where I came from. And then today, bringing me, a little my radio-ness back on the airwaves, I co-host the Metallica Report, the official Metallica podcast with Stefan Shirazi. So that's another little side project
Yeah.
that I'm working on. But
I
the
listen.
foundation is my heart and soul.
Yeah, no, and I think it's really obvious. So I want to give a quick shout out, if you don't mind. Uh, there's an organization out there. They're not a nonprofit. They support nonprofits. They're called ShopFloor Coffee. I've got some
Yeah,
friends over there, Mike Franz and Amy Teal, and
yeah,
I finally got to meet them when I was at the concert in December. And we got a really great picture that I'll try to stitch into this episode because it was a really magic moment. And there's a little backstory on it. Not to take away from your story, but it's kind of all connected anyway, right?
right.
This T-shirt in the background is something that I acquired during the month of giving, which is in May, which is coming up, and it's
Mhm.
kind of the timing around why we wanted to do this. I want to have people, kind of have their awareness about the month of giving. There's merch that you can buy to support because not everybody can write a really big check or really drive a
Correct.
lot of revenue towards the foundation, but they want to be involved because it does so much and so many things. So I wanted to give that shout out to ShopFloor Coffee because anybody with a shop, or if you have coffee at your office, look at them, bring that in because they support this amazing foundation. And I say it's amazing because it makes an impact. So I want to switch gears a little bit back into all within my hands. So to date, let's say earlier this year, maybe not right now, it's more by now, but at the early part of the year, it's at least $15 million dollars that have been generated for all these causes. And there's essentially a few different causes that the foundation supports. And that continues to grow. I think my favorite, although I like the whole thing, I'm really all about the Metallica Scholars Program because it's
Right.
so connected, right, to what I'm seeing, what I've dealt with for many, many years. I mean, you talk about welding, working on sheet metal, on and on like this. Now you've got things that have to do with automation, CNC operating, those trades that we really need, especially during this current onshoring phase where we're trying to bring manufacturing back in America. We've already got a big gap in, labor. We have a shortage when it comes to those kinds of skills. But I want to ask you about the big transition last year into this year. It's now in all 50 states. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, just a little backstory on Metallica Scholars. So in 2019, when the band, so they formed their foundation 2016. They knew they wanted to feed people. They knew they were going to support disaster relief. And then what was that third piece going to be? And that's where James said, I want to support trade education. And that's when the Metallica Scholars was born. And so we're about to enter our seventh year with Metallica Scholars, year six. Last year, we onboarded 18 schools that brought us up to 60 schools in all 50 states plus Guam. So we are across the US and in the territory of Guam at this point. Our schools, they touch on a variety of career and technical training disciplines. The Guam School, for instance, is in ship repair and shipbuilding, which is obviously a very, very lucrative career. And so our students there are learning to do that. We have welders across the country. We have CNC machinists across the country. We have nursing. We have fire technology. We have a wide variety of things that our Metallica Scholars schools are teaching. And it's based on what the local need is. We don't dictate what these schools should teach. It depends on where the school is and what the local economy is driven by and where the most jobs are. Quite frankly, we just want to help people get to work. So that's the program. And ShopFloor, we have a lot of folks like ShopFloor who support what we're doing. Those guys are great. They have the same philosophy. You know, it behooves us to support the tradespeople because they're the backbone of everything that we have going on. So you can be an incredible lawyer or doctor or whatever, what have you, but you're not going to be able to get to work without that auto mechanic.
You you are spot on about that. Like everything. I mean, and it's getting to a point now where it's cliche, where everything's connected to manufacturing, production, and the skilled trades. And it's really true. And we keep saying it because it matters. We don't want people to sleep on that. I think for me, the other thing that makes me so excited about the Metallica Scholars Program in particular is it's not just for students that are coming up out of high schools. It's also for adults that are thinking, I always wanted to learn how to weld and I want to become a great welder and I want that to be my new trade.
Right.
And it's also for that.
Sometimes just up their certifications. We're paying for, in some cases we pay for the certifications that the student needs. And, there's cost to that. So sometimes it's just about upping certifications. And Greg, the thing that excites me the most, and I'm sure you feel the same, is that these, through the community college system, it's great because you're looking at a very short window of time that you can go through the program. Some of these programs are under 2 years. Some of them are like fast track learning that these schools offer, which for anybody trying to make a career change, that's what you need. You need to get it done quickly. And then our funding hopefully can allow you to not have to work so you can do it quickly and just get off and running and start a new career.
Yeah. And for me, it's perfect that it's at that city college level, because another thing that's often talked about, and I'll bring it up anyway, is not everybody needs to go to a university. There is actually kind of a misnomer for a lot of people still to this day about what it means to be in the trades. And it's absolutely rewarding. No two ways about it. I haven't met a tradesperson that doesn't tell me they love what they do. They have certain elements in their day to day that you don't see in jobs that happen behind desks.
That's right.
And there's just so much goodness there, and they can make a tremendous amount of money, and they're not going to get strapped with all that debt. And if Metallica Scholars Program can help with that in any way, that's yet again another thing that doesn't have to be worried about. And we're really building something. So participating in this and learning about it and getting it out in front of people, I think it's critically important. And I don't even say that lightly. I mean, I'm not swearing because I've just decided today I'm not going to swear for our episode, but I do that a lot.
Don't not swear on my account. I'm fine with a good F-bomb here and there.
Well, I'll put it. You know what? Something happened at the concert in December, and James was talking to all of us about a song that he had just done, and then he started talking about a particular topic about how people get caught up and all this kind of generally nonsense, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he just said, "Fuck all that."
Yeah.
And his point was not to be, he was emphasizing the fact that quit worrying about stuff that doesn't matter. Be yourself and do these things that matter. So there, we got one in. What is your it's kind of a silly question, but I want to ask it anyway. What is your favorite thing about what you do when you're on the front lines from the philanthropic efforts, when you're dealing with, because I would encourage anybody that's in my network, anybody that sees this, if you're not going to go buy some merch and support the cause that way, if you're an organization that likes to support nonprofits that are really doing actual good work, you want to talk to Renee and you want to see if you can help them and make real serious contributions. But what is your favorite thing about that? Like, what kind of things happen? Like, what do people say? And do you have these aha moments where somebody's like all about it and they're about to step up and really do something big for you?
Yeah. Look, it's it's Metallica's foundation, right? Metallica has fans all over the world. So, that part is pretty easy. People hear, "Oh, Metallica's foundation, what do they do?" "Oh, yeah, I love that band. I'm happy to support." So we already have like this ingrained passion for what the band does, and that's where the fans live, right? And they will listen to that and take heed and support where they can. Um, but then for me, it's the actual meeting of the person we've helped. I get to make that phone call. Um, when we're on tour, the guys give back to more than just the Metallica Scholars. We give back to homeless shelters and we give back to food banks. And I get to make that call when the band's come into town to say, hey, your nonprofit is going to receive X amount of dollars from the band following their performance in name the city. And the people on the other end, I mean, I've talked to folks where our donation is keeping the doors open for another year for them. Our donation is saving the lives of any number of people that they support. Our donation is able to let them fast track something they were planning on doing next year, but now they can do it this year because this extra money just came in to them. So that for me is the real, I wouldn't even call it aha moment. It's just, that's the real work and that's the real payoff,
Yeah.
is hearing from the human beings that we get to help. And I'm on the front line of that, which I don't know how I got so lucky to be in this position, but here I am, and I get to share these stories with the band members, and it's just a really good thing. And you did ask about, others stepping up with us. I have to throw some heavy hitter names around. Carhartt has been a wonderful supporter of Metallica Scholars Initiative, as well as All Within My Hands along across the board. And Wolverine Boots and Apparel, those guys have been amazing. They've supplied our students with footwear. They've done many collaborations for us, limited release footwear items, so that you can buy the footwear that you need, and it's made by a great company in Wolverine. And they make a lot of steel-toed items for those in the shop and things like that. So those two are probably our most longest standing partners, certainly with Metallica Scholars. And Lowe's Foundation. Lowe's Foundation, they have their Gable Grants Award that they do, that any community college should really look into applying for that. And actually trade schools as well, because they work with non AACC organizations that teach the trades. So they do a Gable Grants thing, but we partnered with them so that they could support Metallica Scholars in their own way, but because we have that shared value system. So we've got some great partners along the way, and that's where the fun lies in my job. I get to be creative on how we're going to work together and how we're going to just fundraise for the Metallica Scholars.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wants to get in on that, they should just get in touch with you directly or go through the website.
Yeah, they can get in touch. If they go to info@allwithinmyhands.org, me or a member of my team will see that email. It takes us a little while. We don't check it every single day, but
Yeah,
we
that's
do get back to you.
that's and I can attest to that. Always busy, and that's not a bad thing. You have a lot to do and it's
Yeah,
meaningful, and when you talk about like being able to deliver that message that hey, we've brought you something that's going to make a difference.
yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
everybody talks about it, but not everybody gets to do it. So that's super cool. And look, I got to, at least a little bit. It's not like we hung out, but when you're at the concert up in LA,
yeah,
just running around, and it's just you're looking at all this, how it all comes together. And the other thing I was telling you about on the phone, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, is I always imagine everybody that does the setups and maintains the equipment, whether it's the musical equipment or otherwise, because I'm connecting it all to like always back to the maintenance, skilled trades, things that have to get done. If they don't get done, it's just nothing's going to work. So I get pretty I don't know, I spent out just being happy and excited about it. So I'm stoked for you too.
Yeah.
Just you being able to do that kind of work, because I know how rewarding it really is for you, and that's
Yeah,
not easy to find.
and it is surprising, going back to, like, the folks that keep the band running on the road, all those guys, for the Helping Hands benefit at the YouTube Theater. Don't put the in front of YouTube Theater. It's just YouTube Theater.
At YouTube
Just so
Theater.
you know. But the benefit show, those are the guys. Those are the guys that do the M72 tour that is on the road right now. Those guys are, that's the family that makes it happen for the millions of fans that get to go to the show, and those guys, to have to see the kind of passion they have for the band's foundation, and to do an event like that, and to know that so many of them wanted nothing more than to be there because they love showing their support for what the foundation is doing. I mean, I'm always so floored. Like, these guys have a million other things to think about, yet they come to me and they're like, "We love what's going on with the scholars. We love the donation you made to support in Brazil when the flooding happened." Like, they know this stuff. This is not like lip service. They really feel good about being a part of this thing that is all within my hands.
Yeah, it's something to really be proud of. And I mean, look, for me, I didn't really have any idea until I got there and I see some of the other people involved. And we don't have to shout out their names, but I mean, you are talking about well-known people that are, influential and kind of in the spotlight, and they're just there to support and even share those personal stories as to why it matters to them. And it's pretty incredible to see, because they're not just there virtue signaling and all that.
Yeah.
They're all about it, all about it. So, question for you, because I know a lot of times you go to the various tour dates, and
Mhm.
sometimes those are global, right?
Mhm.
Because I remember when you had to go to Europe and
Mhm.
hit 3 or 4 stops there, you get to see the team in action when they're doing the setups. Do you ever, maybe over the years, get to see that they're building scaffolding
Oh
or
yeah.
putting
Oh yeah.
together this and that?
We did something really cool. We did it a couple of times now. In The band did a show in Pittsburgh in 2023, I think. I'm really bad with dates, but the show was in Pittsburgh, and we were able to bring some of our students from West Virginia, Parkersburg, um, and they got to see the build out. They got to meet with some of the vendors, like Guardian Barriers, that create the barriers for most festivals, and will be the folks that create the barriers, at a show site, so that there's a little gap between the fans and the stage. And Guardian showed off how the barriers were put in, and what the job entailed. And they ended up hiring one of the guys from a Metallica Scholars Program who was there to see the build out. So um, it's pretty cool for me to see it. And then in Chicago last year, we brought over some students from College of Lake County, and they got a full production tour from the tour production manager. So he took them around. Gino, he's great. He took them around and explained how all the video screens work and all the lights, where those are set and how that all works. And then they got a little behind the scenes tour of the video team that puts up all those videos during the show, and feeds video footage from the audience. So it's pretty cool that we've had the opportunity to share that with students who are going through the program, because it's not, people aren't always thinking like, all right, trades, Metallica supports the trades. Maybe I don't get it, but you should get it, because it takes tradespeople to put on those concerts. Every one of those folks is either can do carpentry work, they can do light rigging, they can do electrical work. There's just everything. It encompasses so many things when you put on a tour like M72.
Yeah, yeah, and M72 got extended through, is it June or something like that?
Uh, We're running this year, we are running all the way through December.
Ah,
And the guys just announced 2 shows in Dubai and Bahrain. Yeah, I think. So,
incredible.
yeah, and we're gonna be in Australia and New Zealand. I say we. I don't get to go on all these visits.
But some of them, once in a
I
great while. You've been to
I
so
do.
many, you probably can't even count, right?
No, I can't. Well, I was a Metallica fan before I got this job, so yeah, I have many, many shows under my belt. Yeah, so for this tour, I'm kind of, being strategic about my visits because I wanna be able to connect with some of our partners that are on, in cities where we have school programs or maybe where we're doing something, food bank activation when we can. Like, I was up in Syracuse and, went to visit the food bank where all the fans were volunteering. They did a beautiful job. They ended up packing, 1,200 school lunches, actually school meals for students in need. So 1,200 students that Monday were getting boxes of the food they needed for the week. So it was pretty cool to be a part of that
Yeah, and there's a
and to
lot
see
of
those guys.
I saw some revised info on the website. So folks out there, if you go to allwithinmyhands.org, you can just cruise around the website and you can see some of this type of stuff. And even things that Renee's talking about now will eventually show up if there's available content, just so you get a feel for what they're really trying to do there. Now, I want to talk to you for hours and hours, but you and I happen to know um, you've got some work to do a little bit later here, and
Yes, I
I
do.
want to make
It
sure we
never
have
ends.
enough time to have you suffer through the fun question segment that I like
Oh,
to do
goody,
for
goody.
first timers on CMMS Radio.
Okay, question time.
So
Woo,
now,
woo.
and when we're done with that part, we can chop it up some more if you want, but I want to get that done because it's kind of fun for me,
Okay,
and a lot
hit
of people
me.
give me good feedback. So, first question, I think we already know the answer, but I got to follow the rules if there are any. What is your favorite music?
My favorite music
Hmm.
or Metallica music?
Yeah, what's your
My
favorite music?
Um, oh my god, I like all music, Greg. I really from the reason I got into radio was because of my love of music. I used to get
Mm.
yelled at by my dad. I would be sitting in the back seat of the car singing along to, Casey Kasem's top hits on the weekend, and I'd sing along to every song, and he'd turn around and he'd go, "If you knew your math problems the same way you know these songs, it's like, you're not gonna amount to anything."
So if it's music you're
Good
in,
on
you
you,
don't have.
dad.
That's funny. It's good though. I mean, it's good. You were calling your shot. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, so I like all music. There's a place for all music in every part of my day, but I would say probably, at the core of it, I'm into the punk and thrash metal vibe. I like I like the I like that music that just gets your blood boiling and you just want to slam into things.
All right. I love it.
And
I
still at
love
my
it.
age, I still love it.
When we're done here, I'm gonna go slam into a wall. I don't know. It's so with that, I'm gonna add one little twist there though, because you
Okay.
you kind of you kind of hinted at it. Do you actually have a favorite Metallica song?
I do. It always changes. My favorite Metallica song changes like the wind. It depends on my mood. Like, what was I listening to this morning that I was just totally fired up for? It was on 72 Seasons. Oh, it's got this great, um, what do you call it? Riff from Robert Trujillo. Oh my God. Oh yeah. It's Sleepwalk My Life Away. That I'll go with that as my favorite song right now.
All right.
Um, but it does change, I go back and forth, and, I'd have to mention, the All Within My Hands, the song in which the foundation is named after.
Of
But the
course.
version of All Within My Hands that I like the most is actually the one with the San Francisco Symphony. I just think it's
Oh yeah.
it's fantastic, and they did it, just a few years ago.
the first time they ever did that symphony, the way they partnered up
Oh
with the
yeah,
symphony and did
in
that was
Berkeley,
like a
yeah.
game changer. So next fun question is,
Yes.
what is your favorite sport or hobby? And on sport, it does not have to be one you play. It could be one you like to support and root for.
Yeah. I'm not so much into watching sports, because I don't really play a lot of sports. I'm one of those people that likes the individual challenges. So swimming is my favorite thing in the world to do. I try to swim every day that I can. Um, so that is my favorite sport that I do. If I am going to watch a sport, we went to minor league baseball yesterday, the Pelicans in near Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. It was so much fun. So I would say I like AAA ball when it's live.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Plenty of people love going to games they don't like to watch on TV. So I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah,
Totally
and
get it.
AAA was so fun. They have they had a golden retriever retrieving the bat between each play. It was so great. He was like ran
Yeah.
out there, got the bat, so that
Good. It's fun stuff. All right, here's the big one. There are no
Okay.
wrong answers on any of this stuff. What is your philosophy, opinion, perspective, anything at all when it comes to this concept of work-life balance?
So I hmm I participate very deeply in the philosophy of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And that's what I've always tried to do so that on these days that get a little crazy, when I get a little cranky and I'm just like, there's not enough time in the day, I still step away and go, I am still doing all the things I love to do. And so that's really where I come down on things. It's interesting because at this phase in my life, I'm currently living I'm taking care of my dad. He lives in a very retirement vibey place. Let's just say it. South Carolina is the retirement state. So it's like everybody here has given up. They're just getting ready to die. So you may have to
Brutal.
cut that. I don't know. But everyone around me is in this slow motion mode of life. So I it's the first time I've really looked at how much I do and at the pace that I prefer, like, and notice that there's a big difference. Like some people do not like the pace that I like. But I have found my compadres in the Metallica family because we like fast, furious, and full speed or nothing, baby.
I love it. I love that. I love that because it's
That's how
not
I
easy
see
to
my
do.
work-life balance.
Yeah,
Full speed or nothing.
that is it. That is, oh my God. Well, we're going to do this again someday. And
I sure hope so. This was fun.
Renee, Renee, I'm so thankful you're here, and thank you for being on CMMS Radio. It's Renee Richardson, folks. Please go and visit allwithinmyhands.org. Find ways you can get involved and support. Keep your eyes open because in just a couple days, you're going to see the month of giving open up.
Yes.
We don't know what they'll have there for you, but it'll be something cool. Last year, I got this one of a kind T-shirt,
We're gonna
and
do I can tell you we're doing another shirt. We're gonna
cool.
do a hat. There are gonna be a few price points. We like to have like a variety for people, because some people can't donate a lot. There's even an option on the Metallica store. You can just round up if you buy something there. You can just round up to give to All Within My Hands. But yeah, we have a variety of things that are going to be supporting month of giving, and then the fans, they always do a fan club fundraising competition. So if you know a Metallica fan who is in a fan club, throw your support their way so that they win this thing, because each of the winning fan club wins all kinds of cool prizes and things like that. So we tend to give it back as we do all this fundraising. And
Yeah.
this year's month of giving, all the donations that we raise are going to be going right back into the Metallica Scholars Program. We're creating a special projects fund. We've come to learn that a lot of our schools, the way we donate out to our schools, we have a system of donation where the first year you receive a lot of money and then it kind of goes down a little bit so that we encourage you to. We encourage the schools to find their own funding to match ours along the way, and we get participation that way. But oftentimes schools will come to us with a project they want to get done, something special. So we're creating this fund so that we can nimbly and easily and quickly go, oh, you need an extra $10,000 for that project. We can help fund that. So
Nice.
that's what we're fundraising for, the Metallica Scholars Initiative.
Nice. I love it. I love all of it. Can't wait to do this again.
Yeah.
Be safe out there, Renee.
Thank you, Greg. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was so much fun for me.
Okay, cool. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit CMMSradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.